sound speeds. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I don't pull any punches with my reviewing of audio gear. I'm very direct and brutally honest where I need to be. Just like Lil Nitro here is going to be on my taste buds. I'm not looking forward to this at all, in case you're wondering. This little doodad may look cute, he's such a cute little gummy bear, but this little thing right here packs 9 million Scoville units of heat. Now, if you're not familiar with Scoville units, that is a measurement or unit of heat, and 16 million is the spiciest pure capsaicin thing that there is on the planet. Now, to give you an idea, a jalapeno measures in it around between about maybe 2,500 and about 8,000 Scoville units. This is 9 million. Now, I did try the Death Nuts before, and that measured in at 13 million Scoville units, and I did that on video. That was not easy. I was grabbing for water very quickly. After only a few minutes, I should say. Now, that is not an option to me on the table here today. I am completely removing everything of comfort, and I'm going to not only completely take my nerves, which are already very, very nerve-wracked. I mean, to give you an idea, I was supposed to be shooting this at about 9:30 this morning. Right now, it's 2:30 in the afternoon. I have literally sat here in this studio thinking about all day, what am I going to do? And I'm sure I've screwed up the lighting, I've screwed up everything. And then on top of everything else, I said, you know what? I should handicap myself and not give myself everything that I would really want to. And part of that's because I'm going to be using this space. And normally I have like a smaller little light that I use for detail, but I can't use that if I'm going to be doing overhead lighting and, well, not overhead lighting, the lighting that I have all over the place. And not only that, when I grabbed for this light earlier today, I come to find out that it has corrosion on it. So in the past couple of months since I built my last cable, it now has corrosion, which is wonderful. So I'm going to go ahead and get a new light. I'm not going to play with those acids. Now, I have also decided that in order to make this more fun, I'm going to build an XLR cable from scratch. I'm going to make an XLR cable right here before your eyes. And I have not done anything to prep. The only things I've done is I've unpackaged the XLR components, which is the EMC female connector I'm going to be using on one side and the male MX connector, also Neutrik, on the other side. Now, I have a cable completely ready to go, and I'm going to be making this cable because I basically have to. I'm going to be doing some changes to my studio here in the next few weeks, and that's going to involve rewiring. So I've got to make some cable sometime, don't I? Might as well do one while my nerves are completely shot and I've lost my ability to think, eating the world's spiciest gummy bear. Now, I've also decided to handicap myself ever so slightly by giving myself only 10 components here to worry about and to mess with, I should say. And I've decided to limit myself to my Weller WES51 soldering iron. And the little holder, I'm going to count as a separate thing. So I'm not even going to be using the sponge because I would consider that to be a separate thing too. But it's there. That's 2 things. 3 is a little knife, which this is not going to be a box cutter. And number 4, I'm using my gloves. Number 5, these wire cutters right there. Number 6 is, this is a little steel wool type stuff. It's used for cleaning solder off. 7, the solder itself. 8, the soldering little helping hand thing there. 9, some electrical tape, which I'm going to be using for the EMC connector, which helps with it. And 10, this little vice grip thing right here. Now, I'm going to be doing this while under the torture of the world's spiciest gummy bear. So because I'm not looking forward to it, I'm just going to go for it. Now, I do not have milk or anything here on the table for me to have. I'm just going to go for this. Now, if you're wondering why the gloves, it is so that way, oh, goody. It is so that way, since solder does have lead in it, I've gotten into the habit of doing it back a long time ago. I don't know if there's negative effects to touching solder, but I'm not going to run the risk of it. I'm going to go ahead and just use that right there. I use gloves. And so I don't have some components here that I normally use when I'm soldering. Anyway, there we go, right here, world's spiciest gummy bear. And I do have multiple cameras going here, so hopefully this is going to be somewhat entertaining for you. Now, I haven't eaten anything since a long time ago. I haven't even had any water, so I'm cotton mouth right now. My nerves are totally shot, and I'm not looking forward to doing this at all. So I'm not going to delay anymore. Let's go ahead and do this. Here we go. Okay, right now it's manageable. But, Oh God, no, 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 no. Mm-mm-mm-mm. This was a mistake. Whew. Man, the flavor isn't even all that good. Okay, let's build this cable now. Oh, man. Oh, man. Sorry. Again, can't really have spicy stuffs. All right. It's my body trying to say, don't do this. Let's prep our cable. Sweating. When that's positive and when that's negative, I can't even think. I'm sorry. And so that way, if it encounters any kind of RFI or EMI, oh man, I can't even concentrate. Gotta do this. Gotta do this. Pump through. Okay, I gotta leave at least a little bit of shielding. Oh man. Oh man. Okay, good. There's some shielding. That's right. Okay. So by leaving a little bit, it exposes the shielding. Okay. Okay, so you have a ground on an XLR, and you have a positive and you have a negative. The positive carries a in-phase signal. Negative carries the out-of-phase signal. Now, the difference is when you are taking a signal that's out of phase, it negates out the in phase. Man, I'm so shaky. Let's see if there's something a little more safe to use than the knife, because I'm going to cut myself. Oh, that's a little better. Okay. So if you have a positive phase and you have a negative phase, then it's going to basically cancel out the actual audio signal itself, meaning that any kind of interference that one side would affect and not the other would be reduced. And that's a terrible way of saying it. But basically, in a nutshell, the point here is that if you have a positive phase and you have a negative phase, they will cancel each other out audio-wise, that anything else that is not canceled is eliminated due to the XLR. So the audio is technically not canceled out. Whew. The audio is technically not canceled out while the EMI and RFI is to a certain degree. This is still very hot. It's just my tongue isn't spasming anymore. My nerves are still shaking too. So here, I should bring this over. Now I'm sweating. Isn't that wonderful? Okay. So let me try to at least detail this for you. What I'm doing is I'm separating this just a little bit. So that way I have shielding. Now, geez, my coordination is totally shot now. So you may be looking at this saying, okay, I know that you've already messed up because you haven't put the boot on before you're spreading this out. Well, I'm going to put the boots on before I do the other side. Geez, I should just get this thing done. Not the prettiest soldering, but it would at least tell a story, right? Normally I have I use the pick off of a multimeter, but I don't have that available to me because I've limited my options. Geez, I'm sweating like crazy. That little gummy bear was no joke. And to give you an idea, normally from start to finish, this only takes me about 10 minutes to do, one cable. So tonight when I'm making all the rest of the cables and and stuff, it should be a lot easier. But right now, my heart's no longer just feeling like it's going to spasm at any second, which is a good thing. I'm just going to try to get through this thing. Normally, I would separate this better. Cable's going to be so jacked up, and it's not up to my normal standards. But you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. This is one of the reasons why I wanted the detailed clippers there. The wire. Can't even talk. Wire cutters. Now, the reason why you would have star quad cable here versus a regular standard XLR where you would have just a ground and then you'd have two other cables there. The reason why is because star quad is better for reducing that effect, that EMI and RFI also, radio frequency interference and electromagnetic interference. And the reason why is that it spirals on the inside. You have four pieces that are like this, and they spiral around the string on the inside. And as it's doing that, it's basically putting the white and the blue on opposite sides of each other. So if the idea in theory is that EMI or RFI interference would affect one part of the cable and maybe not the other side, so that would help reduce it by cutting it in half. And by the nature of being an XLR, it should further reduce. Now, I'm also going to be, let's prep the other side, but first I'm going to go ahead and choose a side. And this side here is going to be my, let's make that the female. Let's make that the Neutrik EMC female. So I'm going to thread this on there this way, totally jacking up my shielding. I should have done this out of sequence. I shouldn't have done this. Honestly, I should have prepped this thing. That way I wasn't doing some of this stuff while totally in panic mode here. And now it's still very, very spicy, just so you know. It's still totally affecting my brain. I'm barely able to think, but just like that. I'm normally a lot neater when I solder than this. Okay. Send everything across the room. Okay. So this here is, if you notice, one of the differences between MX connectors and FX connectors, which is what the EMC is based on, is if you look at where the pins would come out, see over here, on the MX, it goes to threads versus the MX, which has threads on the inside. You see the difference is the threads are on the different side. That's one of the many changes, many differences. I'm going to start with the EMC because this end is already kind of prepped for it. It'll be easier just to throw together the other side. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, sorry, is I'm going to go ahead and use this. Oh man. And pull that aside. All right. Oops, let's get that in there. Come on now. Work with me, not against me. I've already have enough working against me. That little gummy bear, which is now, I can already tell you, it's like totally messing up my stomach. I really haven't eaten anything since a chicken biscuit this morning early. So I haven't had lunch. I haven't had anything really to eat. I haven't really had anything to drink. So this is practically on an empty stomach at this point, which is just wonderful. You can tell I'm starting to get a little bitter by the whole thing. Okay. My judgment is totally off. All right. So here is two blue being soldered together. Here is two white being soldered. Oh, not soldered together. These are being twist tied together. Okay, so this is at least prepped now. This doesn't need to be nearly as neat. Let's look. Hopefully this is turning out detailed enough. All right, so I'm separating all these little braided bits. Now, why don't I get a foil braid? I could get mogami cable and do it that way. Well, part of the reason is because the braid here, it actually helps to make the solders a little better in my opinion. It makes it a little bit easier. All right, so here's what I'm going to show you here. This first little thing. It's totally messed with my head. Notice I've split the the two sides of solder in half. Or not the solder. Jeez, I can't even talk, guys. I'm so sorry. The shielding I have now split into two different sides, so that now I have split it into two parts. I have this side and this side. The reason why, it'll become apparent here in a second. I'll show you why. My brain is not affected. It's not in good shape at all. Normally I'm in a lot better mood when I do my videos, and I'm just going to apologize about that right now. Okay. If you can remember the red, white, and blues in soldering, and by the way, I want to point out that when you look at it this way, the upper right is 1, upper left is 2, lower is 3. But when you reverse it now, watch 1, it's now switching sides. It's going over there. So notice that 1 is ground, white, and blue. Ground, white, and blue. What do you know? I'm about to mess something up. I'm grabbing the wrong end of the XLR, which I can't do. Because if I do that, then I'm going to totally mess up the whole boots. Because remember, these boots are different on both sides. So this is the side that matches my XLR. Well, that looks better than I expected it to. I'm close to releasing the blue one, which is my only saving grace at this point, is that the solder on that one was actually done pretty well. Okay, so that's at least done. Okay. And this little piece right here is going to be the thing that helps it protect from the shield. So if you look at this right here, I'm going to take this piece, wrap it around from the outside around to the inside, so that way I can press it upon itself. Gotta make sure that none of the little pieces of solder are out. Now I'm gonna, or not solder, but the braided shield. Geez, my stomach is killing me at this point. The heartburn has now gone away, and now my stomach is just in pain. It's so not happy with me for doing all of this and not eating before or having anything chasing it down drink-wise to make this a little better. Okay, so that's at least covered. And the reason why that's important is because you have these little shields. Oh, man. Oh, my stomach is so bothered by this whole process. Now, this goes around here. You see that right there? And then you would have another shield on the other side. Oh no, my chest is like starting to hurt again. Oh man. So this fits right around there. That little thing, that little gummy bear, man. So this is going to go on here. I've clipped that down a little bit. Sorry, this is starting to burn again, which is why I'm starting to sweat again. Oh no, my nerves are totally shot. Okay. That's at least around. Huh. Great. I've actually cut the shielding back a little bit farther than I normally would want to. So, well, I gotta make it work, unless I want to redo this thing again. I think that's probably enough. It's enough. It's enough. All right, so from here, let's bring this on. And one of the things I always do is I press from the end, get that in there, right here. Okay. Sweating again. You can see I'm all over the place. Oh man. My nerves. Oh my gosh, my nerves. Oh man. Now because it's a little bit bigger, it should be easier to do. There we go. And that solder should look pretty good right there. There's your ground. There's your white. Oh, geez, forgot I'm supposed to be doing this to camera. It's probably one of the reasons why it was a little easier to do. Okay. There we go. It's at least in there. This here tightens around the XLR. You line it up so that way this little piece right there matches that little piece right there. Oops, there it is, right there. And now I'm going to thread this through here. Press it into position. Now, one of the things I always do is I grab the cable there as I'm sliding this up there, and I press in from this end here to the end that I'm screwing in while I screw it in. That's going to keep it, oops, it's cross-threaded. There we go, that's better. That way that way we can make sure that it's going in there really well. So now the moment of truth. This is when we see if we plug it up. Now, they always, when you plug it in, and oops, helps so it go in the right way. As soon as you first plug it in there, it's going to need to be reset. So, right there. Pin 1, pin 2, pin 3, and these intermittents right there would flash if you move it around and it breaks the connection at all. So I'm holding it in position there. Well, actually, I don't really need to on that one. Sometimes the positive goes out a little bit, like if I jiggle that enough, it may go out, but it's actually not. Okay, well, these look good. These seem really good. So since this was a brand new cable, I'll massage all the way down the cable just to make sure that it's good. And it actually looks really good. So the cable is complete. All right. There is now one less little nitro in the world because I have devoured it. I have removed the evil from the world. I hope you guys appreciate that because I would totally hate to have more evil in the world, especially in the form of a cute little gummy bear. There we go. So there is two versions of this video out there. There's the version that is the entire video. If you want to watch the whole thing and hear and see every little bitty aspect of me panicking and freaking out. Or the other option is you can watch just the pieced together version of this. I don't know which one you're watching right now, but if you're watching just the pieced together version of this, know that there is a longer version. You can watch this entire process and you can see me like literally stop every now and then, panicking, freaking out. You'll see all the, get out of my face, little thing. You'll see me go through the whole motions and everything. If you're watching just the pieced together video, the quicker video, then that's fine too. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode of Sound Speech, and be sure to tune in the future where I do more torturous things to my body while producing a wonderful little thing like this. And sound advice.
Have a question you'd like answered or want to add something? Be sure to write it in the comment section down below. You can also make a suggestion for future topics of discussion. Again, comment section down below, or you can email me at soundspeeds@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on future sound advice.